The upcoming crypto bull run, I believe, is going to be dominated by two very big narratives. The first one being AI, and the second one being Web3 gaming. Now, two altcoins that I believe are set to benefit majorly from these narratives are the Render token as well as the AVAX token. So, in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show, we are going to break down all of the latest moves these altcoins have been making in the AI and gaming sectors, and why I believe the altcoin market is about to see a nice rally to the upside. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. So, as of the time of this recording, we can see that the crypto market is seeing a nice move here, okay? We have Bitcoin actually finally breaking above that key area at $50,000 and now back above where it was prior to the ETF launch. And we do see now altcoins are also rallying off the back of the news that Franklin Templeton, one of the largest traditional asset managers in the world, is now actually looking to launch an Ethereum spot ETF as well, and they have filed their application. So while Bitcoin was actually outperforming initially, we have now seen Ethereum and the altcoin market actually make a nice little bounce here based on this news. And I do believe this is a move that is set to continue. So when we talk about the upcoming crypto bull run, I think that there are two big narratives we discussed at the beginning of the video that I am focusing on, and that is going to be AI and gaming. Now, in terms of AI, I mean, we know that is basically what the entire market has been talking about over the past year. If we take a look at certain companies like NVIDIA, this company has rode itself all the way up to, new all-time highs and actually found itself now with a $1.78 trillion market cap, even surpassing the likes of Amazon and Google based on the potential and hype for AI. Now, for artificial intelligence to really become a big deal in everyday society, this does also require a massive amount of GPU power. And there is huge demand for this at the moment, okay? So OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is actually seeking as much as $7 trillion for a new AI chip project, essentially saying that AI chip limitations hinder OpenAI's growth, and this project would essentially increase chip building capacity globally. Effectively, there are not enough GPUs to power all of the rendering and AI use cases out there, and this is a problem that I do think is going to be set to continue as the demand for AI continues to grow, but the infrastructure is simply not there to support it. So on Wednesday, Altman posted on Twitter, OpenAI believes that the world needs more AI infrastructure, fab capacity, energy, data centers, etc. than people are currently planning to build. Building massive scale AI infrastructure and a resilient supply chain is crucial to economic competitiveness. Now, one altcoin here that is actually looking to help, and we can actually see they responded right here at the top of the post, is in fact the Render Network. Now, Render Network, basically what this is it is a decentralized GPU rendering platform. And effectively, the way this works is people who do have GPUs that are idle, that are not currently using any power for rendering tasks, people are essentially able to lend them out to the Render Network, and then through a blockchain marketplace for idle GPU compute, the network provides artists the ability to scale next-gen rendering work, basically through this decentralized, GPU platform that is taking all of this untapped GPU potential and power and basically offering it through the Render Network, and then the people who offer out their GPUs are paid in Render token. And we can see here that this does have a lot of important different use cases that Sam Altman was in fact highlighting in his tweet there. So, network scalability, efficient infrastructure, a better use of GPU power, as well as digital rights management. And the render network definitely does sit in the middle of this key narrative for the upcoming bull run, not to mention the fact that actual, rendering can also apply to Web3 gaming, which I do think is something important to definitely talk about. So we can see here that, the render network has appreciated as such. A lot of people are really paying attention to this AI narrative here, as it does have the potential to transform a lot of different things within society. And we can see that render network has effectively gone over 10x here from the bear market lows. Now, this is an altcoin that we have spoken about on the channel, previously. And it is one that looks like it potentially wants to break out to new 52-week highs. And I do think that this, on this breakout above $5.20 is where we could see a much bigger move to the upside. So we're going to talk about the token price action near the tail end of the video. But I do also want to quickly highlight the Coinbase fireside chat with the render network. So basically what they spoke about here in this fireside chat was how the render network is not simply used for traditional 3D rendering. This does also extend into generative AI and spatial computing. So Coinbase Institutional Market Call released a podcast episode featuring the render network's Jules Urbach and Trevor Harris-Jones, exploring the evolution of the network to meet emerging GPU computing demands. So Jules discussed how AI has been instrumental to the render network since its inception, exploring the growing interconnectedness between 3D graphics and generative AI. AI has always had a graphic focus to it. For example, every job that has been run on the network has had an AI component since launch, with AI denoising and upscaling features being key components of the advancements in imaging over the last decade. The largest application of generative AI, so text to image, video, 3D, leverages core technologies pioneered in 3D graphics like ray tracing, which are core components of current GPU rendering workflows on the network. This is to say that the expansion of the render network into AI compute workloads is not a pivot, but rather reflects the growing convergence between AI and 3D graphics within GPU compute. And the rise of spatial computing is something else that has been discussed as a catalyst for accelerating the convergence of generative AI and GPU graphics, with the needs for full visual immersion and real-time holographic experiences pushing compute demands to new levels. I think that a lot more people really have been paying attention to spatial rendering since the launch of the Vision Pro, and we did actually feature some of Render Network's work here that was actually showcased on the Apple Vision Pro on launch. So I'm gonna look for that here on their Twitter page. If we go down to media, and let me see where this is. I wouldn't recognize it actually just from looking at the Twitter, but I will find that. And actually, if you do want to check out the video from I believe it was last week, the last render video we actually uploaded, that showcased all of the work that we actually saw the render network kind of featured on the Apple Vision Pro. So definitely do go ahead and check that out. I'm not going to show it in this video because I do want to give you guys some more recent news. And this is a big one here. So, they basically shifted to exploring how the render network leverages blockchain tech and cryptography. One of the big things that is discussed is the migration from Ethereum to Solana, enabling Render to bring all of its data on chain and record deep layers of attribution for creative work on the network. Due to the rise of AI imaging and, as well as the smart contract infrastructure for next generation, there's a lot of use cases here for Render that, this decentralized GPU network does sit right in the middle of, and the token obviously being the sort of like having the use case of, paying out these artists with the Render token. They did also introduce a burn mint equilibrium more recently. And we know that burns do tend to generally have pretty positive impacts on price action. So that's Render, and we are going to talk about that chart near the tail end of this video. I do want to quickly talk about Avalanche as well, and this is an altcoin we have been talking about a lot on the channel, for a long time now. We were covering AVAX in this, $10, $8, $12 range. Currently sits at about $41. This has been a very nice mover in terms of the layer 1 space. However, still lagging behind Solana, and I do think there is the potential for a very interesting catch-up trade here. So what we actually saw was this off-the-grid game. This is, to my knowledge, the first crypto game on Xbox. Off the Grid was actually built on the Avalanche blockchain, and we can actually go ahead and search that right now. Yeah, so Gunzilla launches AAA shooter on an Avalanche subnet, and this was in fact launched here on an Avalanche subnet, which was customized to enable seamless gameplay, utilize only in-game tokens for gas fees, and provide an intuitive, rewarding user experience for both Web3 and traditional gamers. So again, we have here 60 hours of narrative campaign, 150 player battle royale, 250 plus employees, and the economy is fully on a chain through an Avalanche subnet with the custom in-game NFT wallet, which I would assume would be for, the guns and for different skins that are actually offered in this game, actually having them as an NFT, instead of something that effectively is owned by centralized companies. So, pretty impressive there. And I do think we can also attribute that news to the recent Avalanche rally we have been seeing. Now, to wrap things up, I do want to take a look at both the Render token as well as the AVAX token. And we're going to start off with Render, okay? So what I'm really eyeing here when it comes to this coin is the key area at about the $4.35 level. And what I really like about this, if I zoom in on a 3-month chart and actually get rid of the indicators, I think it's making it a bit messy. Yeah, so we can see here that, this did act as support. We also saw it act as some big resistance back on the way up. And now, once again, we had the token here on February 7th, actually back testing it as support and continuing that move to the upside. Now, I do believe, based on the market momentum, it looks like the altcoin market, mainly Ethereum, really does want to look to make a leg up. And if we do see, a scenario play out here where Ether actually breaks above its, I want to say its early year highs at about 27.12, currently sitting at 26.67, and, a lot of the altcoin market looks like it may in fact want to follow suit. And we could also see Render here actually break out of the highs that it put in back in late December at about $5.28. And then effectively this token would be in uncharted territory for this bull run, okay? In the prior bull run, this token found itself up at about the $8.78 area as that all-time high. After collapsing over 95% down to 40 cents more or less. And now we are back here at about the $4.83 range. And yeah, we can basically see here, just based on this token's price action, it tends to move, and it tends to move fast. And yeah, this is definitely one that I am keeping my eye on. You could also argue that there is some resistance up here at that $5.38 level where it got pegged, and you can definitely see that there based on the chart. But I do believe that this AI and blockchain gaming narrative is really one that is going to persist throughout the bull market. And yeah, I do think that Render kind of sits at the middle of both of these very interesting narratives. Now, as for AVAX, okay, this is one we did also cover. On this retest back down to $30, I said I was looking for a hold of that level. We did in fact hold. We actually broke below it here on a weekly wick down to about $27. Reclaimed it as support, and now it looks like it does want to make its way back to the upside. So realistically, just like Render, a break of those yearly highs at about the $50 mark, more or less, could lead to a much bigger move to the upside for this token. And that is also definitely something I am keeping my eye on when it comes to both Render and AVAX. And now I do want to talk about Ether real quick. Just because, if we do think Ether is going to make the next leg up, there is some pretty important, I would say, a level to watch at that $3,000 area. That's what I'm looking for when it comes to Ethereum. And if Ether does want to break above that yearly high at 2,700, we could see a very fast move back up to 3K. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about both Render and AVAX. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Let me know why. And on that note, I hope you all enjoyed the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.